Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. Over 250 million listeners in their platform on a weekly basis. That's 1 billion people per month, and that's why you should advertise on iHeartRadio. And we are also worldwide, so I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America. Big C, I told you I'm going to learn Spanish. I learned uno, dos, tres, so you got to keep up with it, Big C, for my Spanish. And also I want to...
We're counting to three now, Charlton.
I'm counting to three, Big C.
I mean, there's only two of us on the show, but now you put a third talking in on our show, and I wasn't even aware of.
Hey, by the end of the month, I'll be at 10, Big C. Also want to thank our listeners out in London, England, as well as Berlin, Germany, and the great country of Canada. Love their national anthem. Also, you good old boys out in Russia, put down the needles when you're listening to Charlton and Big C Sports. And I also want to say thank you to you good old boys in Dubai. But Big C, I know you've been doing this 40 years. You come from the South. I know you're still nervous about the Alabama-USC games, but how are things going with you guys, Big C?
Well, Charlton, we're going to be nervous up until kickoff for that game. Then we're going to realize it's just a practice game. You know, it's going to go out against the varsity versus the JV is what it's going to look like. So, you know, we respect UFC, you know, until they see what we're going to do to them.
Well, you know,
it's going to be lights out. They'll be asking to pull the plug on the power in Texas Stadium.
Funny, I think that happened in New Orleans already, Big C. They fixed that power company. But it's funny because since Lynn Swann came back to USC, they've been showing them paper clippings from the time John McKay went down and beat Paul Bear Bryant. I think Sam Bam Cunningham ran for over 150 yards against you good old boys. So they're really pumped up about that game. But ironically, Big C, about the USC game, you know, we always talk about Hollywood and also the world of sports. And you know, USC's in the heart of South Central Los Angeles. Now, there's a great actor by the name of John Singleton. He actually did a lot of movies in that part of the country, Big C. What are your thoughts on Singleton, Big C?
Well, no, Charlton, you talk about John Singleton, one of the most iconic black actors and directors in Hollywood. You know, Spike Lee gets a lot of credit deservedly.
Yeah.
Spike has done a marvelous job of opening up America's eyes to African-American history.
Yeah.
But when you look at John Singleton, you know, his first big movie stepping out was Boys in the Hood with Ice Cube, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
You know, people like that, and Morris Chestnut. You know, he went out on a limb and did something. Also, Lawrence Fishburne was in that movie.
Amazing.
He opened America's eyes, Charlton, to inner city life in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
One of those things that the news stations would never show you anything about, Charlton.
Yeah.
But John Singleton was brazen enough to do that, to be real to the American audience, not just African American, but white also, Charlton.
Yeah.
Then he crossed over. He went into Too Fast, Too Furious. He did the second movie in that series, Charlton.
Yeah.
Where he had a plethora of multicultural actors. You know, he had, I'm trying to think of the guy, Tyrese was in the movie.
Tyrese was in there, yeah.
Ludacris.
Yeah.
The young man, Paul Walker, who lost his life a couple of years ago.
Yes.
But, you know, he's done so much. But he has taken chances with African-American entertainers, Charlton, and made them cross over in household names.
Well, also,
many people may not remember the movie Poetic Justice.
Yeah,
that he did with Janet Jackson and the late Tupac Shakur.
Yeah.
That got a lot of critical acclaim in their first major acting roles, where he did a wonderful job in exposing life once again in California, in inner city, showing that these people were real and all they needed was an opportunity.
Yeah,
you know, the last movie he did, he really showed a knock on life in Central California. Well, it's, you know, inner city California, when he did the movie Baby Boy.
Yeah.
And he did that with Snoop Dogg and Tyrese, where he showed how a lot of guys have no desire to do anything. And that's the thing I like about John Singleton, Charlton, is that he didn't show his movies with a bed of roses.
Yeah.
He showed his movies based on real life, what he do, what his associates do. And that's the part of America when we watch movies, Charlton, at the theater, is that everything is almost like you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Everything comes with a bed of roses. It's going to be great at the end.
Yeah.
But what he did was expose real life in African-American America and let the rest of the world see it and gauge it for himself that, you know, this is not just a talking scenario.
Yeah.
This is real, Charlton.
Well, you know, when you think about being real, this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go down and test drive it, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, I still tell you, when ESPN did the ESPYs, Charles Barkley was on there, and he was on there with Reggie Miller, and they were saying that Kenny the Jet Smith, every time a sponsor shows up, he thinks they're supposed to get whatever that sponsor is. So he's still waiting on his Cadillac Escalade, and he might get the one with the raccoon blood that you got from hunting down in the south of Big C. But also, when you think about, you talked about John Singleton, and that's the purpose of our show. Just like anything in life, you have to go out and do it. And iHeartRadio, they're the best platform in the country. In fact, one of the biggest in the world for anyone on the program at iHeartRadio. That's why we're asking Phil Knight for that $1 million sponsorship. But the thing about Singleton, Big C, Big C, just like Singleton, you guys didn't wait for mainstream media to give you anything. When you helped create Charlton and Big C Sports, you put it together, you talked to me about it, and now it's here. And now we're the hottest growing show on iHeartRadio for when it comes to sports. And that's why we call ourselves the $1 Million Show. And we have a lot of entertainers and athletes that pay attention to what we're doing. But I want to also get into this point that you talked about with baseball. And you talked about A-Rod. And I think that 700, chase for 700, I would love to see A-Rod come back and play for someone where he could be the DH. So your thoughts on A-Rod, and is he walking away too soon, Big C, because the record's more important than the money? He's already very wealthy.
Well, Charlton with A-Rod, it wouldn't be about the money. He would be able to join into the most elitist club in all of baseball. There's only 3 men that are in the 700 club. We have Barry Bonds, the great Hank Aaron, and the late Babe Ruth. And to have A-Rod be only 4 home runs away, I think that was a big part of the Yankees removing him from the lineup, because they didn't want to have someone get into Babe Ruth's neighborhood, Mr. Yankee. And so if he'd have crossed that 700 barrier, now he has to be mentioned for the rest of the time with Babe Ruth, Charlton.
Well, see,
that's what I looked at. He was batting around a paltry 215. It's not great baseball numbers, but you can go down a lot of lineups, Charlton, in Major League Baseball and see guys batting up to 230.
And that's still worth a few $1 million, Big C.
And making several $1 million a year, but they were saying A-Rod was washed up. Let me give you a perfect example, Charlton. Last year's National League MVP, Bryce Harper. Okay? Since the All-Star break, has been batting a $175. 175. Now, this is the best player in baseball, as they're saying from last year. But he can't hit a curveball.
Wait, see, he can't hit a curveball. That reminds me of the movie Major League with Charlie Sheen. He was in there, and they were having a hard time saying...
Serrano was the player.
He couldn't hit a curveball.
Hensman. Hensman, you see him on all the State Farm commercials. Not State Farm, but... All-State commercials, spokesperson for All-State. And he was saying that the bat was scared of the curveball, the breaking ball. It wasn't him that couldn't hit it, the bat was scared of it.
It's the bat that was scared of it.
I guess that same thing is going along with Bryce Harper right now. He needs to bring in a voodoo witch doctor or whatever, because his bat has been cursed and is scared of the curveball.
It reminds me of the movie Major League, but I love Jose Canseco because he's one of the honest guys, even though he's the most maligned and ostracized in baseball. But Jose Canseco, he told us what guys need to do to hit the long ball, Big C, but it's not popular to say anymore. But Bryce Harper, I'm sure he's going through a slump right now, but the paychecks are still cashing, Big C. And speaking of paychecks still cashing, I always love bringing up Willie Mays because he has 660 home runs. Ken Griffey, the Say Hey Kid out in San Francisco, and also Ken Griffey Jr. at 630, and I can't say enough about him. Mark McGwire finishing with 583. But Big C, as we transition a little bit from the world of baseball, I just want to ask you this statement about the New York Yankees. Because when you talk about NFL football, there's always, football is always better when the Dallas Cowboys are on top, when the Steelers are on top, when the Raiders, the 49ers, and lately New England, when they're on top, it's always good. And of course, when Green Bay's on top. Okay, we have Carolina now, Arizona, we have Seattle, but those staple teams come to mind. When you think of baseball, the Yankees have so many championships and so much history and so many great players. When the Yankees are good, when the Dodgers are good, when the Braves are good, you could even say the Orioles are good, or the A's. There's something about baseball that makes it better. Why has New York lost its luster when they have their own network and they have more money than anybody outside of the East Coast? Now, why are they struggling so much? Is it because of ego, or is it because Steinbrenner's gone, Big C? Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's twofold, Charlton. The late George Steinbrenner's gone. But, you know, the evaluation of players bringing it into the organization now is not what it used to be. He went out and got players that were hot and popular.
Reggie
You
Jackson.
can name 5 players now on the Yankees roster, yet when George Steinbrenner was running the organization, they had Billy Martin managing the team, Charlton, you knew everybody that was on the roster.
And they didn't even get along, Big C, but they still made it work.
They did not get along, but, you know, if George made a phone call down to the clubhouse, everybody listened. He'd go talk to players, tell them what he expected. Now, through social media and everybody's out on their own, Charlton, you really don't have teammates. You have guys that you work with now. But you really don't have teammates because you're not in the same place, you're not in the same eateries, you don't go to the same bar. Oh, did I say bar? Well, you know, the same drinking establishment.
Is that what they do, Big C? The water hole is what I hear.
But, you know, I'm not talking about they consume alcohol or anything like that. But, you know, you don't have that social atmosphere with players that you once had. So they lose contact. Everybody wants to go off to a multi-million-dollar home. You know, and spend time. Great to have families and all that. But when you're a professional athlete, you have to know your teammates are more than just a playing level, Charlton. More than just going to practice or going to the game. You have to spend time to understand this person's personality. You're not getting that now. And when you look at the better teams in baseball, you look at the Cubs with Joe Madden. Joe Madden has made a family atmosphere on the south side of Chicago. You know, this is what he has done. You know, you look at the San Francisco Giants.
The Giants.
Bruce Bochy has developed an attitude with his players that they want to be around each other. And you see the success that they have. And, you know, you look at the Kansas City Royals who've been in the last 2 World Series.
A small
they
market.
talk about family. You know, and so you see the success that brings. But when you're in a huge major market like New York, you just don't have the time to spend with each other with these young players nowadays, Charlton. And when you think about the exodus of players from New York, players would never leave New York before.
They wanted to go
lost
there.
a lot of players, Charlton, in the past couple of years, which has been part of the demise of that once great organization.
Well, there was a story that was done on ESPN, Big C. It had Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden, and of course they played back in the Big Apple, and they talked about how the ownership was there for them because they both had some issues, Big C, and a lot of guys do, but they were not just thrown onto the curb, okay? They worked with these guys, they got them into some rehab. But I think about the Yankee organization, when you look at them right now, they trail Toronto, Baltimore, and Boston. They're 6.5 games back. They have more money than anybody from the American League. And you look at Cleveland in the Central, and Texas also in the West. In the National League, you have Washington in first place with Chicago, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers are tied with the San Francisco Giants. But I do think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. When Steinbrenner was around, I think he cared more about the players. And if you look at what happened with A-Rod, you can't hold A-Rod responsible for what maybe 90% of the league was doing. He's just a guy that was considered, let's hold this guy up and push him out the door, Big C.
That's a minority scapegoat. Just like the scenario that occurred with Barry Bonds. And you look at how they ostracize him and talk about he won't be in the Hall of Fame, greatest hitter in history. You know, you think about if Barry Bonds had not been walked as many times as he had in his career, and digitally walked, he would have hit 900 home runs, Charlton. Now, people can use steroid allegations against Barry Bonds or any other great player that has hit home runs. But, Charlton, they are not injecting your eyes. They are not injecting your reflexes, okay?
I know.
So, you know, a lot of that is God-given talent. And if we took performance enhancement drugs out of every sports would be boring like they were in the 50s and 60s. But the leagues have allowed this. They go out and sanction certain players, but they have allowed this to make better performance on the field. When baseball is hitting home runs, you're jacked versus hitting singles. And people are like, wow, you know, this is a boring game. Or you got some pitcher out there throwing a shutout. Yes, it's great to have a shutout. But nobody's getting on base. That's not always entertaining.
Well, Big C, this is something too, and we'll transition into the world of the NFL. And also, I want to say this segment is sponsored by the California Lottery. What could a buck do for you? And Big C, I told you, I've been sitting on that winning Powerball lottery ticket. It's only about $80 million, so I kind of feel like Joey Bosa.
You might have to scrape the print off of your butt by sitting there sweating and everything. You have to use your pants to those in.
I got on microfiber pants, Big C. They don't sweat here in California. But also, I just want to bring this up because when you talk about people having too much power, it just came out today, Aaron Rodgers, you know, Pro Bowl quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, he came out and said that maybe it's the player's fault that Roger Goodell has too much power. They're trying to usurp his power, but he has kind of an ironclad fist. There's some players that Clay Matthews is also one of them. There's a few other guys that have been with this Al Jazeera's media that came out and said some players was on some stuff, Big C, and now we know that everybody's on something. At least half the league's on something. So let's not be naive and pretend they're not. But what is this about Roger Goodell? Now you have Aaron Rodgers, who's considered one of the prodigal sons of the NFL, coming out against the commissioner that's already kind of chased Tom Brady into a 4-game suspension. You actually have Caucasian quarterbacks that are criticizing the commissioner, who's been more egregious with his punishment of African-American athletes. Big C, your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, I look at this alleged scenario from Al Jazeera's news.
Yeah.
Where, you have 4 players that the commissioner wants to talk to. And ironic, Charlton, there have been 5.
Yeah.
One of those players was Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Who was in that Al Jazeera report. And isn't it iconic that Peyton Manning retires
yeah.
and he's not asked to be questioned in this scenario?
Yeah.
Now put his Super Bowl ring on hold.
Yeah.
Okay? The league has the ability to do that. Put his Super Bowl ring on hold until he comes in and answers the question. It's so ironic that, we had Peyton Manning during the season last year with a neck injury, couldn't run the football, couldn't throw the football.
Yeah.
But we see him walking around with a boot on his foot. To reflect what his real injury was, Charlton, while he was out for those 5 games?
Well, they say the head bone is connected to the foot bone, Big C, so that's what I hear in kinesiology. So maybe the doctors know something that we don't know in Denver. But just again, I want to get your opinion because there's so many people, and race is always an issue, and I embrace it. That's how we change things. Dr. King, one of the greatest Americans ever, he embraced race all the time. That's why our society got better. But when the African-American quarterback gets maybe lambasted in the media by saying they're too flashy, or they have too much swag, or they shouldn't dab so much, or they shouldn't give football to kids, here are 2 Caucasian quarterbacks, 2 of the marquee guys in the league, Tom Brady and now Aaron Rodgers. They are criticizing the commissioner, who really has never been harder on Caucasian quarterbacks as he has on guys like Ray Rice that's kicked out of the league, and also several other African-American players. So
he's done that Adrian Peterson,
yeah. So
he basically ruined his career for a year. I mean, the Greg Hardy fiasco. But when you look at the players that he's talking about bringing in, he's talking about bringing in Julius Pepper, James Harrison, Clay Matthews, the one white player in this, But the commissioner can get there and single out just 4 players, out of 1,800 players, and say that you guys are suspected of performing enhancement usage.
Well, okay.
How do you come up with that?
How do you do that? Yeah,
and then, Charlton, you're only looking at these Pro Bowl players that have been starters and been at the highest level of the NFL. How do you single out just these guys as a commissioner?
Well,
this is a witch hunt.
It's a witch hunt.
And so if I can go out and get 3 or 4, high-profile players, I got an advantage over everybody, but I'm going to let Peyton Manning skate. You think about it, after the Super Bowl, all of a sudden he got cleared because, he's retired, so we're not going to investigate him. These allegations occurred while Peyton Manning was playing, Charlton.
Exactly.
So if these guys that he's the one to talk to are dirty, Peyton Manning was dirty. And so he should get the same judgment as the rest of these players. Like I said, if he doesn't talk, hold back on his Super Bowl ring, which is what every player wants in the NFL, is that Super Bowl ring. Hold it back. The league has the right not to distribute it to him.
Well, remember the thing that Aaron Rodgers is talking about now, saying maybe the players should not allow him to have too much power. It was Gene Upshaw, the late commissioner Gene Upshaw, that said he worked for the league. He didn't care about the players.
So, director of the Players Association, Gene Upshaw, former 13-year player with the Oakland and Los Angeles Rams, Charlton All-Pro guard, first-round draft pick out of Morgan State with the Raiders in 1963. Marvelous career. Won a Super Bowl, actually 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders in 1977 and actually 3. 1977 and 1980.
Well, see, when you think about that, it's weird because we're doing something that we do all the time. We always talk about the reality. We call it real talk. We don't hold back our words. And some people don't want to hear the truth. But I'm kind of proud of Aaron Rodgers now because we talked about the lack of Caucasian men that came out and made a stand, whether it's about Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, no matter what color you are. Dr. King, he fought for everybody. But I'm proud of Aaron Rodgers being one of the rare Caucasian athletes that said anything about the commissioner and how he uses too much power to criticize players. Maybe he's only doing it because he's coming after one of his own guys in Clay Matthews, whose father also played in the NFL for several years, was an all-pro player.
Over a decade,
Over a decade. So
his father, his grandfather, his uncle, his brother's a linebacker with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, they have there's something in the blood of the Matthews Big C. I think it's moonshine from what I understand, but it might be something else. He also played at the great USC. He might be at the USC Alabama game when we give you guys the beatdown coming up in Arlington, Texas. I hear that Clay Matthews and Lynn Swann might even suit up for the great USC in that game. So Alabama, Nick Saban, they're really going to be in a heap of trouble, Big C. But also,
if you know decrepit guys dress up, you know the talent level at USC. Like I said, it's going to be a practice game when Alabama shows up.
No, they're saying this team is as good as the one that blew out. In fact, they shut out Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium in 2004. I think it was 23-0. They also blasted another SEC team in Arkansas 70-17 at the Coliseum, and they also beat Arkansas 50-13 when they won the SEC as well. So this team is projected to be just as good. They just don't have Reggie Bush, so that means Lynn Swann doesn't have to worry about anybody getting money on this team, Big C. But it should be a great game, and a lot of guys are looking for it. And speaking of great, this segment is also sponsored by United Labor, guaranteed $100,000 life insurance with no medical questions. We're also endorsed by the American Heart Association and the American Cancer Society. We can assure all of the unions under the FLCIO, and I'm looking to employ over 1,000 licensed insurance brokers to work with United Labor. Tweet out the Charlton and Big C Sports and follow us on Facebook. And also Big C, because this is so important too, and I love what you bring to the program. I refuse to be a sycophant jock. A lot of times, jocks are a lot of dumb guys just reading the score. And we talked about ESPN. There was an article that came out. I think it was actually on Fox. I mistakenly said it was the Associated Press. But nevertheless, it was just a few days ago where ESPN is asking their broadcasters to just read the score as if they're talking to dumb people. I think Americans, because of the internet, you can't fool people anymore. They have the knowledge before the broadcasters even bring it up. And what I love about you is you do this without a teleprompter. You do this without a producer in your ear. All you have is your moonshine and your Bible, Big C, and that's how you're so accurate. So I really appreciate it.
What you can read through that glass, Charlton.
Okay.
It opened your mind and eyes to a lot of things with that sweat rolling off your forehead.
But okay, and I appreciate that. And I also want to say to people, the reason you should advertise on Charlton and Big C Sports is because, unlike our program, you're not going to hear real sports talk everywhere else. They kind of handcuffed. I think the only guy that comes close to what we do is Stephen A. Smith, and maybe just one or two other guys. But Stephen A. Smith is a lot like what we do because he's just honest, and some people say he's braggadocious. But I like guys who are feisty. I like guys that are they live on the edge, kind of like you, Big C. I remember that time I took a ride with you.
Always on the edge of my porch.
Well, I took a ride with you, and you're kind of like Escalade, and you're going through the mountains. I thought you were in a Formula One car. You were driving so fast, Big C. But I learned to just pretend I was asleep. But that's the thing about having no fear when you do a program. And that's why we say to Phil Knight that you should put your money behind $1 million program, one that's going to give you a big return on your investment, the same way Under Armour did with Steph Curry. Now their stock is through the roof because they understood talent and guys who are not afraid. So, Big C, your thoughts on this thing. We're talking about the NFL and Roger Goodell, who makes $40 million plus per year. And will you just go into it, why he will always have the backing of the owners, even though players like Aaron Rodgers are saying he's flexing too much power? Why will the owners back him? Is it because they're helping him make money and he's doing the same for them, Big C?
Well, it's a hand-slap-hand scenario, Charlton. He works for the owner.
Yeah.
One of the things that the public does not understand is that Roger Goodell does not represent the players of the NFL. He represents the 32 owners in the NFL, Charlton. That's who pays his paycheck.
Yeah.
They gave him autonomy to be as powerful as what he is in the NFL and the ultimate discipline of players.
Yeah.
Now, we saw Robert Kraft over the past year and a half question some of the power that they've given the commissioner.
Yeah.
But the only reason Robert Kraft questioned it was because it was his star player. Now, Robert has had other players suspended over time, and he never questioned it. With Tom Brady being face of the franchise, one of the faces of the NFL, that's when he really hit in Robert Kraft's cross. So, when you look at it, the commissioner really doesn't concern himself with what a player's thoughts are, because these four players, Charlton, that he's talking about coming into his office, giving him at least a half hour with each one of them, he is stating that if they don't show up, that they're facing a 4-game suspension. Now, we're talking about egos from both sides right now, Charlton.
Yeah.
Egos. Now, as a player, if you have nothing to hide, walk in, give his 30-minute interview, walk out. Give him what he wants. What can he prove unless he's drug testing you in his office, which he cannot? He does not have that power.
But Big C, let me ask you this question.
Let me ask you this question. Well, have the conversation with the man, walk away. He cannot prove anything because it's just a conversation.
But Big C,
regardless of how many witnesses are in the room, Charles.
Okay, let me ask you this point of view then. Why Aaron Rodgers is talking? And now this is not a naive program. That's for other networks.
Well, Charlton, when you think about Aaron Rodgers, 2 of those players are his teammates.
Exactly.
Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews. And without those 2 players, the Packers don't have as strong of a defense as they would like to have. You're talking about 2 cornerstones on the outside, their best pass rushers, and one of their best run stoppers, Charlton.
Okay, Big C, think about this too, because you remember the movie North Dallas 40 with Nick Nolte, and they were talking about what really happens behind the scenes in pro sports. Now, Jose Canseco, who was ostracized by everybody when he told about baseball, and maybe he should have kept his mouth shut because he told on guys that did the same thing he did. He told on his friends and his brothers, but he told the truth, Big C. Would you believe that, and you played the game, so you know that some players, if they start opening their mouths, they're going to find some guys who are doing dirt, Big C, and that's just a fact. Not everybody is, but maybe some people suggest at least half of the guys in order to play at that level of football, and that's what the movie Concussion was all about with the great Will Smith and Dr. Malu. It's about what it takes to play in this game and how sometimes even a team doctor is told, look, you want to work for us or not? If you want to work for us, you got to do things we want you to do. Don't you think if too many people talk, Big C, it's going to let some guys come through and create more suspicion for what we all know is happening in the league, Big C? Does that make sense to you?
Well, Charlton, in the game of professional football, everyone deals with some type of substance.
Yeah.
Whether it's growth substance, whether it's a pain substance, there is nobody, Charlton, after the first game of the season, even the first preseason game, that is healthy.
Yeah.
When your body starts taking that pounding, it breaks down.
Yeah.
And you need assistance to get your body back to where it needs to be. Whether it's a painkiller, whether it's an injection, whether it's a performance enhancement.
Yeah.
It's been around the league for decades. The Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s were built upon performance enhancement.
Yeah.
They had this huge hulking offensive line that looked like nothing no one had ever seen. Rolled up sleeves. Everybody played with long sleeves until the Steelers started rolling up sleeves.
Yeah.
And this was not a natural situation, as we talked about Mike Webster.
Yeah.
Who was the cornerstone of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Webster, at 5'11", playing center for over a decade in the NFL.
Yeah.
Being a dominant player.
Yeah.
Weighing around 300 pounds and no body fat, Charlton. Just not possible.
Well, see, Big C.
So the entire, Steelers line was like that. We talked about Larry Brown, who went from tight end at 225 to a 300-pound offensive tackle in 2 years.
Yeah.
After destroying his knee.
Yeah.
So everybody could see through the public eyes and even through the professional league's eyes.
Yeah.
This wasn't natural. But no one said anything until Jose Canseco really made it public, and it no longer could be ignored or hidden by these professional leagues.
And Jose Canseco can't get a job in baseball, but Mark McGwire can, and they would ride in the same car, Big C, if you know what I mean. Speaking of riding in the same car, this segment is also sponsored by One Life America, One Life Insurance. I'm a broker with One Life America Life Insurance. We're the leaders in the country when it comes to final expense, and we also pay your E&O insurance up to $1 million per agent. I'm looking to hire over 1,000 licensed life insurance brokers to offer final expense to help protect American families. Now, Big C, also I want to bring this up to you because I think it's so important, and I'm also very proud. When we look at the United States and the Olympic competition, we have this young lady that just kind of hit the scene. You know, Simone Biles, she's amazing. Bias. The way she's performed at the Olympics, Big C, I think is a testament not just for American gymnasts, but also for young African-American girls. I think she can be kind of that Arthur Ashe in a sense, if you will, or even the Jackie Robinson for gymnastics for African-American inner-city girls, Big C. Just your thoughts on what that means, if it means anything more than just winning the Olympics, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, she sort of rode on the steps and the heels of Gabby Douglas from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When you think about the performance that Gabby Douglas won, the gold all-around championship, the individual title.
Yeah.
It showed and it proved that African Americans had arrived.
Yeah.
Not only that, Charlton, this year we had a Latina female.
Yeah.
Who was won a gold medal. So when you think about the diversity diversity that the U.S. team has created, Charlton.
Yeah.
Ironically, there's only one Caucasian on the U.S. team.
Yeah.
When you think about it, there's 4 minorities that were on the all-around team. So when you think about how gymnastics, Charlton, has crossed the barrier for young ladies to participate in the Olympics as well as track and field. We even look at our U.S. water polo team, Charlton.
Yeah.
There's an African-American goalie. The female goalie on the water polo team, African-American.
Yeah.
And yet we've always talked about blacks having a fear of the water. We had an African-American young lady out of Stanford win a gold medal in a sprint race in the pool. So when we think about that, and even in the last Olympics, Charlton, we had an African-American female boxer who won a gold medal out of Detroit.
Yeah.
And she's on the track right now to win back-to-back gold medals at the Olympics. So when we think about the diversity of African-American athletes, Charlton, in the Olympics, but also the lack of what we see on television. We'll see the basketball team, Charlton.
Yeah.
We see most African Americans on the basketball team. We did see a little bit of the gymnastics because it's been a predominantly white sport.
Yeah.
But these other athletes, Charlton, are not getting the recognition.
Yeah.
And that's through the white media eyes of America.
Well, Big C,
these are the ones that they're not showing it.
Well, see, and I think what we're saying is so important because sports is $1 billion industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation for that industry in all colors. I remember growing up playing. I had black teammates and white teammates and Hispanic teammates. It didn't matter. But I think when it comes to the world of pay, we know that black coaches are the last hired and the first fired. We know there's still the stigma about the black American quarterback, whether it's Doug Williams or even if it's someone like a Colin Kaepernick. There's always some sort of a pushback, Big C. And I also address my media brethren. I remember getting started in broadcast back in 1996. I was a spotter for Rod Gilmore when he would do games down at Stanford. And again, we wish him the very best dealing with his fight against cancer, and I hope and pray that he beats that. But Rod Gilmore is an attorney. And when I'm talking to my brethren, black and white, Tom Kelly from USC, the 41-year broadcaster at the time, back in 1996, got me my opportunity to get introduced to John Madden at Fox Sports. Why do I say that? I say that because with Charlton and Big C Sports, we're one of the rare sports programs that will offer people employment, number one. We're one of the rare programs that will talk about how the economy is important for all people. That's why we're so pro-proponent for kids in the inner city to have computers. And I'm so proud of what LeBron James has done, and I think he's done it because he's been listening to you, Big C, as well as Jim Brown with his Ali consciousness, where he's given $41 million of his own money to help send poor kids to college as long as they have the grades. Doesn't matter what color they are. That's LeBron James. I'm more proud of him for doing that than I am for him dunking a basketball. Even Michael Jordan, who's been hidden for 30 years as the most decorated black American athlete the world has ever known outside of Muhammad Ali, he's been so silent, so socially, intellectually vapid. I'm proud of him over the last 30 days for trying to contribute money to help kids have an opportunity, Big C. So as we close out the program today, whether you're talking to Phil Knight or whether you're talking to Warren Buffett or anyone that is part of the economy and can put people to work, what's the importance of investing in Charlton and Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio network? We're not sycophants broadcasters, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
If you want to know what America's thinking, the pulse of sports, this is why you get involved with Charlton and Big C Sports. If you want to be told the truth, if you want to be entertained, you want to be educated, this is the reason why you get involved with Charlton Big C Sports. When I think about our female audience, Charlton, between 35 and 37% of the most intelligent people in the United States. They're there because they gained something from Charlton and Big C Sports. We've all, Charlton, over time watched ESPN. We've all watched Fox Sports.
Yeah, I love it.
But what are we watching? We're watching somebody who reads a teleprompter who lacks emotion and lacks knowledge half the time. It's like I get so offended when I see my former football playing brethren on television saying that they don't understand what's going on in the game now. They were a part of it. You don't forget how to ride a bike, Charlton.
That's for CTE, Big C. That's part of the CTE. You just contributed to CTE, Big C. That's part of what it is when they don't understand. But I just want to get your point again. When we come up to the world of sponsorship, this is a very competitive business, and I love it. I love this business. I love being able to talk sports and entertainment. Sports in Hollywood, just like we've all talked about Singleton on the program. Jim Brown was a great athlete, went on to play in Hollywood, Big C. But your thoughts again on the importance of having some social consciousness behind you when you're on the sports program. Let's not just read scores. You can go to a game and read the scoreboard, Big C. So again, your thoughts, and I'll let you close it out, on why it's so important to have people and athletes and also people who own sports teams talk about being an activist and how to create opportunities for people. Big C, you're right. Your point. Go right ahead.
Well, Charlton, when you got the people on television, these are not. They don't have a social consciousness, Charlton. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
They're there protecting what's theirs. They don't want to say anything outside the box because they don't want to piss off a producer. Excuse me, I said that. But,
that's a new time.
the thing is, you have to have a conscience when you're on television. It's like watching the nightly news, whether it's NBC, ABC, or CBS.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to tell the truth. You have to be
just the facts,
willing to report what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's what we're not getting. You got to broadcast, and ESPN loops their show all day long.
Yeah.
They're talking about the same thing. Advertisers are spending their money on the loop. Okay, they watch the show one time, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But your spot has been running for the next 6 hours, and nobody's watching because they've already seen that loop. Deal with us. Deal with reality, deal with real time, deal with real talk. You'll get results from it because you have an audience that's intelligent and paying attention.
And I want to just say also, whether you're worldwide, whether you're in Dubai or Australia, if you're in Great Britain, we love bringing you real talk. And I also want to thank Cynthia Evans of CYN Entertainment and BeneathThisWingsFoundation.org. Make a donation today. It's easy, it's fast, and secure. We're also getting into the world of digital banners. I believe that my push, with the help of Big C, that Charlton and Big C Sports will become one of the most well-known and respected sports programs in the world because of the iHeartRadio network. So I want to tell you, every Monday through Friday from 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide, you can listen to Charlton and Big C Sports on the iHeartRadio, and you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Tweet out the Charlton and Big C Sports. I'm also always going to say, please, no violence against women. If you know any women going through a situation, call 911. Let's keep our women safe as we enjoy the world of sports. And every Monday again at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, worldwide, tune into Charlton and Big C Sports. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.